my back blown out in peace. You think I got time to talk about a divorce that's a year old?
Just when everyone thought it was finally over between Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre, she did something that left fans speechless. For days, social media was buzzing with rumors, screenshots, and emotional breakdowns over a supposed breakup. People were convinced Aaron had left, and that Teyana was quietly nursing a broken heart behind the scenes. But then out of nowhere, Teyana posted a photo of them together, hand in hand, smiling like nothing ever happened. The caption was casual, even sweet. But the message? That was loud and clear. And it sent shockwaves across the internet. The drama had been brewing for weeks. Fans had started noticing things that didn't quite add up. Teyana, who had once proudly posted her man on the regular, suddenly went silent. Posts disappeared. Instagram stories got cryptic. Lyrics in her captions felt heavy with heartbreak. And Aaron? He was nowhere to be found. No likes, no comments, no public appearances with her. To fans who follow every move, this felt like a breakup unfolding in real time. Everyone started whispering, speculating, assuming the worst. People began stitching together timelines, reading too much into body language, and pulling up old interviews as proof that the relationship was crumbling. The internet was merciless. He left her, one comment said. She found out he was talking to someone else, said another. Theories ranged from him being overwhelmed by her fame to cheating rumors that came out of thin air. Some were convinced Teyana had simply outgrown him. And then came the alleged insider leaks, sources claiming Teyana was heartbroken, that Aaron had ghosted her, and she was too proud to admit it publicly. Gossip pages ran with it, pushing headlines like Teyana Taylor single again, or Aaron Pierre moves on quickly. And just when the noise became too loud to ignore, Teyana posted that now infamous photo. She didn't even say much. Just a simple caption, Sunday love. But it was enough. She looked radiant. He looked calm. They looked like a couple very much still in love. Fans were stunned. How could they go from breakup speculation to soft launching their relationship again in one post? Was it all a stunt? Was the breakup talk just gossip? Or was this Teyana playing the long game, taking control of the narrative without ever saying a word? What made it even more powerful was how unbothered she seemed. There was no anger. No drama. Just her and Aaron, arms locked, unfazed by everything swirling around them. And in that moment, it felt like she had won. She had silenced the gossip without a single statement. But the internet wasn't done just yet. Now the question became, why post him now? Was it love or was it strategy? Teyana Taylor has always been a master at controlling her narrative. Long before this, during her split from Iman Shumpert, she never really confirmed or denied anything. She moved in silence, using visuals, art, and body language to tell her story. Her fans have learned to read between the lines. They knew when she was hurting. They knew when she was healing. And they definitely knew when she was in control. And this post was all about control. People started pulling out receipts from past interviews, analyzing every little detail in her post. The jewelry, the background, the timestamp. Some believed the picture was old, that it was a strategic distraction. Others swore it was recent, pointing to Aaron's hairstyle matching a public sighting just days before. The mystery only deepened. But through it all, one thing was clear, Teyana wasn't explaining herself. And that drove people even crazier. Her fans came to her defense, saying she had every right to keep her private life private. She doesn't owe us anything, one fan tweeted. Let her love in peace, another posted. Meanwhile, others weren't convinced. She's forcing this, some said. It feels like she's trying too hard to prove a point. And that sparked a whole new conversation. Was Teyana genuinely happy? Or was she trying to show the world that she still had it all together, even if things were falling apart behind the scenes? Then there's Aaron's silence. He didn't repost the photo. He didn't like it. He didn't comment. In fact, he hasn't acknowledged Teyana on his page in months. And for some fans, that said a lot more than any statement ever could. Videos began surfacing online showing the couple in public, and not all of them were flattering. In some, Aaron seemed distant, walking ahead of her instead of beside. In others, his facial expressions looked cold, detached. People started dissecting his body language, questioning his intentions. He's just not into her, some said. She's in love alone. But others argued that maybe he was just private. Not everyone lives for social media. Maybe he loved her quietly, in his own way. Maybe he didn't feel the need to prove anything online. And maybe, just maybe, Teyana was okay with that. Or maybe she wasn't. The speculation only grew when Teyana shared a story days later, a quote that read, "Just because they think they left, doesn't mean they weren't dismissed." It felt like a message. A warning? Maybe even a confession. Fans were split. Some took it as proof that Aaron had tried to walk away, and she was the one who shut it down. Others believed it was about a dig at her ex. But what no one could deny was the timing. Teyana was clearly saying something, even if she wasn't saying it out loud, and then, almost as if to stir the pot further, she appeared at a high-profile fashion event alone. No Aaron. No smiles. Just a fierce outfit and a cold stare. The photos went viral. People praised her look but questioned her mood. "This is heartbreak couture," someone commented. "Sis is serving pain in Prada." But was she heartbroken? Or just tired of the noise? Either way, the silence between her and Aaron was beginning to feel louder than anything else. Insiders began whispering again. Alleged sources close to Teyana claimed she was trying to make it work, but was frustrated with Aaron's lack of effort. One even said she felt like she was carrying the relationship alone. Still, she refused to walk away. She's not ready to lose another man publicly, the source claimed. Whether true or not, it painted a picture of a woman trying desperately to keep it all together while the foundation crumbled beneath her, and still, she kept showing up online. More photos. More glimpses into her world, glamorous, polished, carefully composed. Not necessarily of Aaron, but of her glow-ups, her career moves, her private jets and designer fits. Subtle flexes that whispered, "I'm still her." It felt like a quiet declaration, not just to the world, but maybe to herself. A reminder that even in uncertainty, even in emotional limbo, she hadn't lost herself. She was still winning. Still thriving, and in many ways, it worked. Her fans rallied behind her. They reposted her captions like mantras, turned her images into symbols of resilience. "Whether he's there or not, she's unstoppable," one tweet read. Another said, "She makes heartbreak look like a runway." The world watched a woman turning pain into power, but still, the question lingered, what's really going on behind the curated feed, behind the filters and flawless skin, behind the captions dipped in quiet defiance? Was she actually happy? Or was she performing happiness, hoping that if she wore it long enough, it might eventually feel real? Was Aaron truly her piece, or just another painful chapter wrapped in a pretty package? People started digging deeper. Rewatching old interviews. Revisiting moments that once seemed harmless, but now felt loaded with subtext. One clip in particular resurfaced, an interview where she said, "I'm the kind of woman that makes a man look better." But the truth is, not every man deserves that kind of power. That line hit different now. Fans couldn't help but wonder, was that about Aaron? Was she beginning to see that she was once again elevating someone who didn't have the capacity, or the intention, to rise with her? Because the truth is, love shouldn't feel like a job. It shouldn't drain you while you pour endlessly into someone else. And maybe, just maybe, she's realizing that, too. Even if she's not ready to say it out loud yet. And still, Aaron said nothing. No posts. No statements. No subtle nods to the swirling rumors. Just silence. A kind of silence that felt less like privacy and more like absence. And as the days passed and the speculation grew, that silence began to speak louder than words ever could. Fans watched closely, refreshing his page, hoping for even the smallest gesture, a photo, a message, anything to show he cared. But nothing came, and Teyana, on the other hand, stayed visible. She didn't directly address the rumors, but she never disappeared either. She kept showing up, polished, poised, powerful. She posted her wins, her work, her glow. But those who really knew her, who'd followed her journey long before the headlines, could see the shift. The brightness in her eyes had dimmed. Her laughter, still beautiful, now came with a pause, like it had to travel through something heavy before reaching the surface. As soon, the conversation began to evolve. It was no longer just about whether she and Aaron were still together. It became something deeper, something far more familiar to many women watching. It became about the emotional labor women carry silently. About how they often continue to love, to show up, to hold everything together while the other person stays distant. It became about how silence, in the face of emotional unraveling, can feel like the deepest kind of abandonment. In Teyana's journey, people began to see their own. They recognized the quiet strength it takes to keep smiling through uncertainty. To keep performing excellence while grieving a love that no longer feels safe. Maybe she had already let go. Or maybe she was clinging to something more personal, not Aaron, but the version of herself she didn't want to lose. The woman who loves deeply, who believes in people, who never apologizes for feeling too much, and whatever the truth may be, Teyana isn't offering explanations. She doesn't need to. Her silence is its own kind of power. Her photos are her voice now. And her presence, steadfast, graceful, unshaken, even in the eye of the storm, is a reminder she may be healing. She may still be hurting. But she's not broken. She's still standing. And in a world quick to tear women down, that alone is a powerful kind of resistance. So whether Aaron is in the picture or just in the background, one thing is clear: Teyana Taylor is the main character. And this story? It's hers to write.